Hey everybody, welcome. What's up? It's Joe and Oscar tonight again. We are going to be
one less
talking about some
calling,
stuff.
right? That's how you're supposed to be doing it.
Yeah. He's good. He's fine. So we're going to be talking about the podcast. Make sure to check out our stuff, Oscar.
We're gonna talk about the podcast on the podcast, guys. No, gonna do our usual intros. So, one, thank you for being here. Colin doesn't ever do that, but I do it. And definitely don't forget to check out one of our sponsors, Happy Little Hug Factory. A link in the description below. Make sure to click that link so they know that we sent you. And that's a great place to go pre-order your 3 boxes you're gonna want to be getting.
I was just about to segue into that too.
Which
I was like, oh, that's a good
something we are going to talk about today. And then that's about it. Colin has us down to a routine, so he's the best one at doing it. That's why I let him intro everything. I like to just be.
Yeah. And also thanks to all our Patreons.
That's right.
Do we thank them on the main podcast?
Yeah. Thanks to all the patrons for their support, because honestly, a lot of what you see here or here, depending on where you're listening to this, wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
Different upgrades. I got better lighting now, so you can see my beautiful face.
I should buy some bulbs for my lights.
Yeah.
Then I can have something similar to Oscar.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So what are we talking about tonight, Oscar?
So tonight, the hot topic of the last 24 hours is the Valentina. I'm thinking Epic Stories again.
You're on Epic Stories.
Yeah,
right
yeah. Because I want to talk about that in a minute too. Is the new Kaguya ruler? It's the new colossal ruler. Everybody's really pumped on it when it got posted, but then a little bit of information which I missed once we did our spoiler review, which was on the same post for the spoilers, said you can only get the ruler by purchasing 3 boxes of the set. So Joey, what are your thoughts on that so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty lame.
Yeah.
People just
feel it's a paywall.
Yeah, I think anything that's like really limited like that, but is also like, if this ends up being like a really good ruler, or like even just like setting precedent of doing this, is a bad idea. I think it's just all around a bad idea. Like cards shouldn't be gated too much behind like availability. So
yeah, I feel like it was maybe their way around, because in our spoiler review, I talked about how we received Alhamad and how he was inside of a booster pack that only contained 9 cards, as opposed to 10 because of how thick he was. So I wonder, and somebody in the U.S. group had mentioned the difficulty that the company had when getting through Alhamad to people. So I'm wondering if there's a difficulty in how they're loading the packs and then seeding those packs into sets, because that's a whole special sheet that's not like the normal sheets that they're cutting, and having to have cut and
I guess that makes sense.
Fold in.
But like, so the answer is 3. Like 3 boxes is a ton of. That's like $300. That means every copy you try to get your hands on is going to be insanely expensive.
No, it is, and the argument goes really back and forth. There's different people standing on different points. There's a point of some people just can't afford that many boxes. I'm one who can't. I usually buy 1 box and pick up some singles after the fact when they've dropped in price. And then there's people who can get the 3 boxes, or who have been getting the 3 boxes, who will continue to do so. And that's the point I was trying to get to at that. But the point is like it is expensive. It's difficult to get to. My concern was that if they're being handed out the way promos are handed out sometimes, like before they're included inside the box, if people were actually going to get a hold of them. One instance is like back when they were not included within the box and they're being given by distributors to stores. The 2 stores we always went to never got them, and if they got them 3 to 4 months later than they were supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And then not enough to go around to how many.
It seems very interesting. Would you be okay with, like, if you buy a box you get her? Do you think that's reasonable?
I think it's too reasonable. Like, I would love that, and then I also wouldn't, because that's, I think, a bit overkill. Because like I said, there are people who buy those 2 to 3 boxes. Now they're able 2 to 3.
Yeah.
You know what the point I was trying to get to about the 3 boxes is that there's people who also make the argument that in Advent of the Demon King, they picked up like 4 to 5 boxes and never pulled an IU. This is the equivalent of that, but except for they're going to get 3 boxes and guarantee to pull that Kaguya, which could have been something that would have been hard to have pulled in the first place type of situation.
So what would like 2 boxes be okay for you? Like I'm just, like if you are okay with this, or you're maybe thinking like, well, this isn't too bad, where's the sweet box limit? Like,
so two
like, I mean, I guess
I think would be perfect. 3 I don't have huge issues with. I'm probably not going to get 3 boxes. I want to get 3 boxes, but either I won't. My main issue, like I said, is the distribution process of this. Like, how is this actually going to be arriving to people? That's, to me, the issue.
Yeah,
How many boxes are you going to get, Joey?
It's probably 0.
And why are you getting 0 boxes if you're on this channel 5. For Force of Will?
I like the concept and having the availability of every card.
Yeah.
And playing it digitally.
So
honestly, it's if I had a local store, or I was still playing with you guys, I'd still be buying boxes. Yeah. But anyways,
one day if the game's still around, you can come back to Texas and live here, and then you'll buy boxes again.
Yeah, we'll see.
I like their response. So one more thing I wanted to mention about the boxes, on top of the fact that you'll be buying 3 just to get this card, was that the ruler ratios is completely changed as well. So there's actually a percentage of chance that you'll open up a box and not get a single ruler in it, but there's also a chance of getting 1 or 2 rulers out of it. Of course, you will not get that colossal ruler, but you can get one of the other 2 that we might be seeing.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to me like, I don't know what the ratios were, so these are the only 2 rulers available though, right? Like there aren't any starter deck rulers in there. There aren't any fluff rulers.
Right. I mean, technically, there's a Rhea in it. They're not 100% clear when they mention Rhea, but it should be the one that we see her unsealed ability on her J ruler side.
Right. Okay. Yeah, which is interesting. So you had mentioned Oscar, and I don't know if this has been confirmed anywhere or anything like that, but like you'd mentioned that it would be really cool if like Rhea and CL were gonna be like also colossal rulers.
So this sparked from Richard. I know Richard listens to the podcast every now and then. I'm assuming he messaged me on Facebook, and he had said, I just saw your spoiler video, and he I don't know if this is his theory. I already forget this point where he said he believed that Seal would flip over and become Feetsing, and that Rhea would flip over and become Zero. And then my theory beyond that, taking it one step further, and this mostly applies to Rhea. I don't know how to justify it for Seal/Feetsing, yeah. But I was saying, wouldn't it be crazy if we get the Rhea? It's the same starter deck Rhea, and the reason why you couldn't see her J ruler side sealed ability is because they unseal it, and it's another Judgment, and that's when you find a colossal ruler out of her. So she goes from Rhea to Zero.
Yeah,
which
would be interesting. Huh?
Yeah.
So my issue with that then is that like it seems like the whole distribution idea behind Gil, and like the reason they're getting out this colossal ruler in this way is, wouldn't be because it's a colossal ruler.
Right. So there's loopholes in my fun theories here.
Right. I mean, well, no, there might not be, like Rhea could obviously just not be a colossal ruler.
Right.
It could be as simple as
just
that.
Just the fact that it could flip into Zero is still cool on its own.
Yeah, I really hope that's what they do, because that'd be super duper cool.
Yeah.
It'd be really awesome.
It would be.
But see, then you've got the whole like Rhea's already has a J ruler side, so is it going to be like an Alice cluster ruler idea, or was that Grimm? That was all the way back.
For what?
Where Alice flipped into like 3 different Alices.
Oh, it was 2 different Alices, and it was it was Alice cluster, 7 Kings of the Land, SKL.
That wasn't 7 Kings.
Yeah, you had 2 Alice rulers with the same side running through the flowers, and they flipped over into different ones. One of them I remember worked with Fairy Tales because Melissa ran it.
Yeah, I thought 7 Kings just had the 7 Kings, but it also had like Dark Alice and stuff too.
No, they didn't have Dark Alice in it. That's the rewards. The rewards included the 7 Kings plus Dark Alice and Sylvia. The 7 Kings of the Land set itself had all 7 Kings, plus the 2 versions of Alice and a Blazer.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Huh? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
So they gave you 10 rulers in that set.
Yeah. So maybe it'll be like that. There was also the Pandora rulers, I think, way back in Grim Cluster
Right.
did it. But anyways, I mean, do you think they would bring something like a mechanic like that back?
That'd be cool. I mean, we haven't seen it in a while. I don't know if they necessarily bring it back, but I don't know if it did too much. It'd have to be a really good card, you know, and even then, you'd have one really good one not so good one, and you would know what people are going to flip into because everybody would run the better one.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it would only be for Rhea too, because like none of the other J rulers right now have anything like that. So,
right.
You know, if Rhea flips into like a 0, like I feel like the only way they could do that is like have the first half of Rhea be the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm still gonna say it's Rhea 0, and then Seal beats in. Right. But obviously, we're not gonna have like 3 colossal rulers come out at once. That'd be insane.
You don't think so? That'd be so cool.
No, that'd be so cool.
That'd be cool though. But okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think the 70% chance per box is kind of lame. Mm-hmm. Also, I would much rather see like. See, I think it's interesting to think about this from like also like a super casual perspective. Like I used to buy just like packs, so like what are the chances I'm gonna get like a ruler in a pack? And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be. So it was like 70% chance in a box, right?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how to math. So, there are 36 packs in a box, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's
3 rulers.
So it's 70% of 36. Oh, where's my calculator? There it is.
While you math that, where was I gonna go with that? I'm cutting
so it's
like
25. It's like 25 packs out of 37 should have a ruler in them. No,
that doesn't sound right. Those would be insane boxes.
yeah, no, that's totally wrong.
But anyways, while you're talking about that, I already talked about. Did I talk about already how the sets were also reduced from 150 to 130?
I didn't know the numbering, but that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. They want.
I guess it makes it easier to get all the cards.
That's the whole point of it, was to get back to that, which is funny because we went from right around 100. Sometimes it went to like 90. Sometimes it went to 110, 115. And they're like, oh yeah, we want this to be super duper draft friendly, and as a result, we're going to add in like up to 150 cards. And now it's like, we're going to tone that back. We want you guys to get the cards you want. So it's like, so is it not draft friendly anymore? How does this work?
Mm-hmm.
Still no magic stones in it, so that's good.
So 25 packs out of the 37 is 70% of the packs. So in those 25, am I doing this right? Right? No. I don't think I'm mathing correctly.
I'm not good at math at all, so I'm not even going to answer on this. If you guys are good at math, give Joey the math that he needs, because he can't get it.
It's 25.2 is out of 37 is 70%. So
anyways, so that's those were our 2 opinions on the subject of it. They weren't super salty opinions. Like, I don't necessarily agree with it, and I'd rather it be maintain the same track. Also, I want to mention that in the wording of their statement, they say going forward, as in like this way this is way it's going to go going forward from now on, which is why I'm hoping that, because so much stuff has been said in groups and polls that are appearing on Facebook, that they see the feedback and are like, whoa, okay, my bad. We're not going to do that, because it is pretty bad. Also, like I said, we're not salty, but you know who would be salty, Joey?
Yeah.
You know who wants to rant about it?
Colin.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get a chance to?
Yeah, he's going to. So as we've been saying several times, guys, he's moving. He finally got into his house today. Their internet gets set up tomorrow, hopefully. And as a result, he should have his news up on... they come up on Wednesdays, right? And his news is where he might, really unleash it and give his opinions on it. I kind of like, when I read his comments this morning when he was messaging me, I was like, he'll lose some steam by the time Tuesday night comes around to record.
You think so? I don't think so.
I think he will.
his green tirade has ever lost steam.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I honestly, like, when I was getting ready to do this podcast, and I was like, what subjects do I want to talk about with you? I was like, I know one thing I'm not going to talk about. It's a freaking thing we talk about every single week, and it's either something with green that he hates or Scheherazade. And the only thing we're mentioning about Scheherazade is the fact that this statement right here. That's it.
Yeah. Scheherazade's done.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Anyways, something I was going to say about the spoilers was they did take me by surprise. I wasn't expecting them last night. But looking at release date of June 8th, I guess it should have been realized, because if it's released on June 8th, then the week before that is pre-release, which is June 1st, which gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly 1 month till, which is generally right around now when we would have spoilers. So
yeah,
pretty cool.
True.
We're going to have them nightly. We're going to do our usual, just this, round table talks, I guess you can say, of each night's spoilers.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, including Colin. So Colin will be here tonight, technically, based on when you guys are watching this. And but yeah,
it should be pretty interesting.
Should be.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do my usual. So while Colin would like to talk about Scheherazade and what he hates about her, I like to talk about epic stories. Built 2 more decks this weekend, one digitally, one partially in real life. Had some ideas with Dusk Girl that I felt worked pretty well, so I'm really trying to make her work. But anyways, this ruler, the second I was looking at each side of her, first of all, when I actually looked at this card, I was like, oh, look, a ruler, whoa, a J ruler. And I was talking to Colin while doing this, and I was like, whoa, Colin, another J ruler. Wait, they didn't show the ruler side. It took me a second to realize it was Colossal Ruler, but I think a lot of people did that.
I didn't really realize it at first either.
But when I saw this, and instantly, the first thing that went through my head was epic stories and the stuff we can do with her. Because, for anybody who's not familiar, because I talk about all the time, is color identity. Color identity is pretty much determined by your ruler, and the will symbols printed on the ruler, not just what the color attribute they are. So this is a water ruler, but because she has on that last J ruler side every attribute color, she's associated with every single color. So she comes in with every color, which gives you access in your deck to every single color you want to run. And then
yeah, I see now. I see.
Yeah. So on top of that, she has that reset of God's Art. Why is this good? Because in Epic Stories you run 2 rulers. So pretend you ran a ruler who has a God's Art, you use that God's Art. I know this is going to be really tricky because you need Imperishable because you only control 1 J ruler at a time. You flip her over, reset the God's Arts. You can use that God's Arts again. Now where it comes in useful is with Valentina. Valentina 2. Right?
Yeah.
And why is that, Joey?
Because Valentina 2 gets to use all the God's Art.
Right. And not just that, but if Valentina 2 comes into play, reveals all the rulers, she gains all their names and all their God's Arts, even if you're at a judgment with Time Spinning Witch, and it kills off Valentina, on her ruler side, still maintains all those names and all those God's Arts, so you can keep using it. So that's why...
Does she gets that on her ruler side too? Like you can God's Art on her front side?
Right. Old ruling, Joey. It was like a year and a half ago.
I know, dude. I literally never played.
Because the wording on the card is this card gains, so it doesn't matter which side it's on, it maintains it. It's kind of like the way technically Farer has those 4 counters no matter which side it's on. Reflect Refrain will maintain its counters no matter which side it's on because the card itself gains those counters.
Yeah.
In this case, it's actual gaining wording, so it's a little bit better than just having the counters on yourself.
Okay, so the thing is though that you need to use all those God's Arts before you can refresh them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you judge an early game. Hopefully, you don't get killed off before you pull out all your rulers, which is what the downside was to Valentina. Was that it didn't say as this card comes in; it just said when this card enters the field, so it could be killed immediately without being chased to and stuff like that. But
so basically, what you're telling me is play Black Moonbeam all day, every day.
Yeah, run all those decks that have black in them. Or I guess this ruler. There's other rulers, by the way, guys, who have the multiple attribute symbols on them. It's just this one was probably the most utility-wise the better of all of them. Like
I'm brewing up a green dragon deck right now. Well, I had been in the process of it for a while, but
yeah.
Now I'm actually
hopefully you get that done so by the time next time we record again, y'all both two have new decks.
Yeah, I'll try and put it together right now.
I'm really curious what Colin's trying to build, because he had asked in chat one day, or he asked me in person, maybe, I don't remember. He's like, "Hey, in Epic Stories, can you run a ruler and then their ascended version?" And I was like, I don't think so. I think it's because they're the same name. But I asked, and you can, because technically they're 2 different cards. And then he got super hyped on it, and I was like, "What the hell is he building?"
So okay. So the outside of the game has to be your sideboard, though, right?
Yes. When it comes to Val rulers, yeah.
Okay.
I guess technically that and Fox. So yeah, yes.
Okay.
Are you reading her right now?
Yeah. Well, I'm brushing up on my Val knowledge.
Yeah.
What are like the best gods arts for Seven Kings?
I really don't know.
They're not amazing,
remember them 100%. I know. I guess if you have a bunch of bodies in the field,
good, right?
Yeah, I thought what's her name's was pretty, or what's his name's, Arla's was pretty good. If you had a bunch of resonators out, you're gonna be swinging with, because the fact that it stacks for each swing.
Yeah, Arla's is really good, but it's like 6. It's like 6 a 6 cost gods art or something.
Oh, is it?
It's 4. Never mind.
I had a feeling that you were.
Yeah, Arla's is really good. I mean, they're all pretty good. It's just like Faria's is really crap. It's 6 and it's recover all resonators you control. Melvis's is kind of shit.
I mean, the Faria one's not bad. Like if you're, because when we first played Epic Stories and we were at Frank, somebody was running an elf deck and they had Faria as a ruler. They're able to swing with all their resonators out. They had a field full of elves, Judgment, God's Art, recover them all, swing into somebody else to kill somebody else off.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's other stuff that recovers all your resonators. That's not 6 mana, 6 stones, 6 will. Prisha's would be really good, except you can only use it once.
Yeah, to get those. I mean, technically, let's pretend you got all those beasts into play. They died. You horned them back into your deck. Boom, get them again.
Yeah, whatever. No, actually, Reses is probably going to be one of the strongest. Like you can make like everybody discard their whole hand. Yeah. Machina's God's Art's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean you can. They're
really
in your
good.
deck and hopefully you don't pull into them, so you can God's Art them.
Well, you don't have to.
Sorry, I got mistaken what he did. His inner ability is what does that. Never mind. His God's Art something completely different.
It's resonators with no attribute you control cannot be destroyed this turn. So yeah, not actually that good. Never mind. I was mistaken too. What was I searching? I don't remember. Anyways, Epic Stories. Yeah, Val should be interesting.
It works. So it's again semi-slow week. It's hard to come up with topics with Colin gone as well, because I forgot to do the phone number in the beginning, didn't I? Guys, if you want to call us, 512-522-4188. That's going to be to our our Google Voice account, and you can leave us a voicemail. Now the max is 3 minutes, so you want to leave more than that, you can leave several voicemails, and I'll just go ahead and cut it all together to one. But I don't know, give us a call, let us know something, give us your opinions on stuff.
You should like dub it in at the beginning. So did we have anybody call in last week?
No, just the first week so far. To Joe, shout out to Joe, thank you for calling us. But,
I was
definitely
just
pitching
curious
it over
because man, I could talk about Epic Stories like for another like 10 minutes, but probably shouldn't.
I mean, we don't have much else to talk about. I was about to go into Architect.
Okay. I don't even know what's going on with that.
I don't think you can.
So Oscar, I'm gonna reveal my secret deck plan that probably won't happen because oh my gosh, who was the head judge? I was arguing with Frank. Yeah. Because Frank won't let me play
by the way,
with all of her inheritance abilities. Yeah.
Wait, the inheritance abilities. I was like, is that really that big of a deal? Like, what's going on here, Joey? And I went and I typed in inheritance, and I was like, he's losing out like on 2 to 3 different inheritance resonators that he can't run.
There's like 4 cards. There's like 4 cards.
One.
First of all, there's like 6.
Viola,
if I technically don't have access to like blue.
Yeah. So who would you have paired inheritance with, so we can actually get a good answer on this?
I was gonna play Chronos Inheritance.
Okay, so now you got the access to blue. You're missing out on the red ones. So Invisible Flame, Bastard,
And the black ones.
Oh yeah, one black one, Viola, and Sprinting Flame Horse. That's it. Everything else is colors.
No. I'm also missing. I'm missing Sprinting Flame Horse, Viola, Bastet, Invisible Flame.
That's it, and I renamed those.
Yeah, that's 4 cards.
Yeah, I named them, guys.
The point is, you don't understand, Oscar. 2 or 3 cards, 4 cards in this deck just could make or break the deck. So the idea is that, you know, they don't want you teaming up, you know, like joining Chronos with anything like draws you cards, because it's like super free draw card. So this, you get to discard, like you only have the inheritance guys in there so that you can discard them so you can draw more cards. So like you discard an inheritance ability, it replaces itself because of Glorious's effect, and then you get to draw another card with Kronos' effect. And then you like pair that with super cool other stuff. And that's about as far as I went with it. But
oh yeah, I mean it's once per turn, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like think about like Flute is like, you know, like there's a reason Flute and Reflective Rain and like all of those combos are banned, because like drawing cards with Chronos is super good. So,
man,
so if I can draw cards,
drawing cards with Flute and Xion is super good. I like it.
It's not good with Xion. It's alright with Xion. Drawing cards with Flute is good for anybody.
Yeah.
I could probably do like a Flute Glorious deck instead. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of other J rulers that draw cards, but the point was Glorious enables like you to like cycle through like a ton of your deck. Like you're basically thinning down your deck from 60 cards to like 56 cards or something, because I think there's like 14 total inheritance cards. Let me I did this math before, but
I feel like even with the colors you want being ran in this deck, that you still don't have enough inheritance cards to really be effective. 17, you know?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. Yeah, I think you already said it, huh? 17. Okay.
I mean, you just look at the top, see there's 19 cards being shown, and then just take the ruler cards out.
That's smart. So okay. So there's 17 inheritance cards, right? Mm-hmm. That means your deck is essentially, because those are free, those like free cycle cards. All you're doing is cycling those cards, and you're drawing cards off of them. So it turns your deck into a 60 card, Commander Epic Stories deck into like a 43 card deck. Because and now that you have a 43 card deck, and you're gonna draw through another 17 of those for literally free, it would make the deck like insanely more consistent. Mm-hmm. Now the idea is that I don't know what to do with all the draw power and all the good deck stuff that comes with it, because Glorious isn't the best J ruler, and Chronos is like super good. But anyways, the idea is like it could be super broken and you could totally like fuck around with it, but with only I don't know if only 13 cards is enough to justify playing it. Mm-hmm. I'm probably still going to make the deck, but
and you're not going to get any more inheritance cards, at least for foreseeable future, because unless they just like, you know what, get a guy inheritance, random dude has inheritance now, but I don't think they would.
Yeah. But I'm telling you that like that combo would have been really good if you can run inheritance cards with her.
Right. There's a lot of combos that have been pretty good, even given if we could just run up to 2 cards of any card, but. Something that I was brainstorming on, and the only issue I have on this deck is that it's completely mono green, and I'd want some outreach to other colors, especially like maybe red or blue, is Crimson Girl, right? Point of her is to Judgment and keep her in play. She can't be Black Moon beamed, can't be hit by fire spells. The only thing that I think that can hurt her, that from the top of my head when I was thinking about it from decks that we all kind of own right now, was Aliceris' God's Art could kill her. But
there's a decent amount of stuff that can kill her.
Right. But on top of my head, based on what you guys have built and the way y'all run them, that's it.
That's fair.
There's, of course, probably going to be other cards. It's just I can't think of them right now. Anyways, the point is to get her in
like
the field
glorious,
so she has the double buffs, right? The second card was maybe to run Arwen. And that's only because Arwen can give a wind attribute resonator the +5, which turns into plus 1,000. So that was something I was playing with, and then I was reaching out instead of her to somebody else. I forget who the other person was. It also helped with buffing. But yeah,
dude, you should run like, you know what I think would be. Oh no, you can't do that. Yeah, because you need someone on the ruler side that gives something buffs, huh?
Right, and
I was thinking like play like like a soul, or like so like when he flips and gives himself buffs, he like double buff him.
Well, it's resonators only that double buff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So right, her effect doesn't do J resonators.
Right.
You know what you should do? You should play Fairy Alice, like Flipper God's Art. Is Fairy Alice one who gives a permanent +2/+2 buff?
I'm looking right now.
It gives everything.
Yeah.
It gives everything +2/+2.
Yeah.
Permanently. You should like play her and then play the other girl.
Yeah. It's not bad. Downside is like once I judgment into that Alice. Well, I guess a judgment early, God's Art it, right? Just so that effects on the field, and then focus on. Okay, we'll see.
And then you would have to kill her off once you judgment with the other girl.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Colin's probably gonna do like a double fairy deck and like judgment with one Alice, and then judge and God's Art, and then judgment with the other Alice.
If he does that, I gave him the idea. Just letting you all know that.
Did you? Oh, yeah.
I was telling him how great of an idea that would be, because just the fact that you have all the fairies out, and I went and looked up at all the fairies, and I was like, man, there's a crap ton of different colors besides white, and you'd be a mono white deck at that point.
I see. Yeah. So you would get access to like 2 fairies. Wait, no.
Well, there's a few of them. It's not enough to like be like, I'm a fairy deck. You know, it's.
How does Alice work for the color pie? I don't know if we ever asked Frank or anything.
What do you mean?
Or I don't remember the answer for that. Like, if Alice gets to bend the color pie, like some of the other rulers got
color
to.
Identity?
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the Excalibur though.
Okay, just for Excalibur.
Yeah, not directly names the card.
Not for any of the fairies.
No. Unless she directly named a fairy, like pull out, Flame Sprite.
Mm-hmm.
Then at that point you can run Flame Sprite, but no. But yeah.
Does anything else buff your resonators?
Huh?
Does anything else buff your resonators?
I don't know. I was just looking at the fairies right now because I was naming them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 fairies you get access to out of 24.
10 white fairies? Wow.
Sorry, 23.
That's not very good, but yeah, that's like all 10 fairies just to God's Art.
Yeah.
Okay, we're kind of getting away here.
No, I know. I'm probably gonna name this podcast like Epic Stories Talk, because, like I said,
we should. Well, okay. We should.
Guys, the exciting stuff besides this podcast is going to be every night with the spoilers when we talk about them. That's where the bang of it is. So if you decided to skip this one or just ignore it, it's fine. It's no big deal. We'll, have Colin back and maybe get some better subjects, because we'll have a full week worth of spoilers, better theories coming through.
Yeah. I was thinking we should like bring it back in and talk about like if we want to see any like certain mechanics or like things in.
You know what there is, and we're here already. So something I'm excited to see, and we had seen spoiler art of it when they're just doing the random images with just the no text images. Is it look what's her name? It looked like a Vivian being reprinted, another fairy. So, with that being said, I'm really pumped to hopefully see fairies come back in. Now, the joke I had made last time, which didn't make it in the podcast because of my audio messing up, and I had to cut that podcast short, was it's going to suck if they go, you know what, don't name them fairies anymore, and name them something else like Otherworld Fairies. And then all of a sudden they don't work with fairies anymore, and it's just a piece of crap. That was something. Or even just because the fact there's no light resonator that we can see, or light ruler in the set, if we get like 2 fairies, or maybe these fairies that work differently with a whole other mechanic that works with like the green ruler or something different. You know what I'm saying? Like something that you don't want to happen.
I mean, I think like, coming from like a Magic background, I like that you can mix and match like there are still goblins coming out that like are good in goblin decks and like modern goblin decks and stuff like that. I think there's still like slivers that work with other slivers, so like that's always an interesting, like, dragons are always gonna be dragons, so I mean, I really hope they don't try and like screw us like that, because that'd be pretty shitty.
I mean, we've already seen golems that work with rain, so that's kind of what I'm referring to, like, happening.
Okay.
Like, if you're getting all these golems and you're building this golem deck, like, man, I hope the next set I just need like 2 more really good golems, and they're like, here's 2 golems, and they work with thunderstorm. It's like, what? I'm not doing thunderstorm stuff,
Well, you're doing it wrong, then, Oscar.
But that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get more. I don't know. I'm hoping to get better. I mean, we already got some pretty good aggro stuff, honestly. Like, I haven't really played around with it, but from everything I've heard, it's pretty awesome. So, like, I feel like we had lost out on a lot of aggro. I mean, besides like Prisha, but I think that was like a crazy fluke. Right. But like, besides that, like, I don't know, aggro hadn't really been very prominent in the game, so I'm hoping it makes like a good comeback.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, I'm not really somebody who's seasoned enough to be able to be like, oh no, Joey, aggro is not going to do well right now in this control environment, blah blah blah. But yeah, no, I mean, hope it'd be cool to see some aggro come back. It's been since Alice Cluster since we've seen aggro be super, successful. Dominant. I want to say, besides Prisha, I'm sure Prisha is what an aggro deck, but it'd be cool to see some stuff come up, see the direction the company takes.
I also hope like blue and white like takes off, because like I feel like it's all like green, black, and a little bit of red now, but like we rarely see blue and white taking like a lot of decks with blue and white in them.
Yeah, I forget if we were on a podcast or I was just talking with Colin, but I remember him arguing the point of do the colors perform the identity they're supposed to have? As in, like, when you think of black, what do you think of, Joey?
Well, I think the issue, I think of like death and like destruction and kill stuff.
So like destroy a resonator essentially, or destroy maybe an addition.
The issue I think is that people already have like preconceived notions from like playing from Magic, or like stuff like that. So like I already know what I want all my colors to do, which is why green is so weird. But anyways.
But in this standpoint of like either wiping the slate clean and rethinking it, or thinking about Force of Will and how their direction's been so far, black, you're thinking of destruction. Now, black also has card removal in hand, so you control your opponent's hand. Is that something that black should be doing, or no? Colin believes it's something blue should be doing, and that it's not a black associated ability, it should be a blue associated ability.
So my thing is, like, black is about destroying and messing with your opponent. Like, yes, discarding cards isn't like part of, it's not destroying stuff on the field, but it's still destroying stuff. Like, it's still, you're actively like destroying things that your opponent has, and so that's why I think discard should be in black. Like just like paying life should be in black. Like red, blue, white, none of that should be paying life, because like you're part of the black color identity is like you're dealing damage to yourself to get better effects out of stuff. Like you're playing cards that kill your opponent's like stuff, which is like where the destruction and the like hand discard comes from. I don't think blue has, like, nothing blue screams like card discard. Because like, I don't know.
He felt it was that, I believe is what he said. If you guys remember, y'all can correct me in the comments. I forget if it was a podcast or Patreon podcast, so it's one of the two.
I think I do remember him talking about it though.
Yeah. There's that, and I tell him, I said, well, when I think of blue, the first thing that comes to mind is bouncing or drawing a card. That's usually what just comes to mind about blue.
But see, why does that come to mind for blue for you?
Because when we started playing, we were in the Alice cluster, so there's some bounce cards from I think TTW, It was one cost blue. I remember because I ran black, blue, dark Alice, and so I would always either have bounce cards or some sort of it wasn't necessarily a buff. It was that one, what's it called, like Wall of Ideas, and is either my defense increased or your attack decreased type of card.
Yeah.
And then the draw card, obviously, from stuff like Cheshire Cat is why those come to mind.
And see, the issue I have with this, then the reason I'm talking about like Magic and stuff, and like we already have preconceived notions, is that like Magic like created their color pie, and they created their color identities, and then they went with that for most like all these like years, and they have everything they have associated with that like will fit into their color pie. So like when Force of Will started, they pretty much took a large part of that color identity in Magic and just ported it over, because let's be honest, like you can't really mess too much with the formula. Like it's like it's been done before. I don't know, they didn't want to reinvent the wheel, and at the same time, like you don't want to alienate like your old time members who like will get black and they'll be like, why is black gaining life? Like this doesn't make any sense. So the reason I think that all this stuff is like associated, like black always made sense to me, because like black represents like death and destruction and famine as like a thematic motif and stuff, and that's why black does all this stuff. But like blue, in Magic, blue has bounce, they have like counters, and they have like resting stuff, reducing things. And the idea behind Magic is that like blue is like, it's somehow like messing with the opponent's mind, is what blue in Magic was supposed to be. For me, that never really clicked. Like I always thought like blue was like water in the ocean, and so like I don't know, some board wipes I think were like, for me I associate like board wipes with blue, which is, I don't know, I'm just different like motifs and stuff. But so I mean, I don't know, the point I was trying to make is that like Magic associated all these color things, so like they like blue had bounce, and blue has like decreasing attack instead of like increasing attack, and different like blue stuff like that. And that's why like we associate all of these mechanics with blue. It's like that's why discard shouldn't be in blue, because it was in black the whole time.
So then with that said, where does green go?
Green is usually,
we see right now drawing cards, canceling, and buffs.
Right, exactly. And like green, besides the buffs, green in Magic is basically ramping, large creatures, power, toughness, like reach and like flying, trample, and like a little bit of gaining life was a little part of green. But like in Magic, green never had any canceling and drawing cards was always like put into blue, which I think is interesting to me that they changed that up, because a lot of people think that in Magic blue has too much stuff. Like blue is basically like the green of Magic.
Okay.
So like to me, it was weird that like green got cancels and they got like card draw. I mean, card draw, it's everything gets like a weird amount of card draw. But
yeah, I mean, we've seen some card draw hit black and red recently.
Yeah. And see, the weird thing to me is that like green also got like big creatures, and they also got they didn't really get any flying or anything. I mean, blue is usually flying. Green is like flying defense with like reach and stuff. But anyways, that's a different mechanics. But then like green also got like a little bit of ramp too, with like absolute awareness and some of the other ramp cards. So I don't know, it's just I get where the whole like green has everything comes from, because like if green has like counters and like drawing cards, they shouldn't have like other stuff like ramp or big creatures. And the big creatures more or less haven't really gotten a ton of big creatures. Like I think in the past, I'm thinking like Huang Long, the Divine Beast, and like all of the six sacred beasts in the past were like my idea of like big beast creatures. But they've kind of gone away from that.
Right. So with all those colors we've gone through, and this is the part where I think I challenge Colin. I say, when you think of white, what do you think of in this game?
In this game?
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think white? What does white do to you for you?
Well, like, see, the issue is I can't separate this game and like Magic. So like in Magic, I think white is like life gain and protection. In this game, I'd say like white is like buffs maybe.
I actually felt like it was life gains and protections as well. I think that's what I had mentioned in ours.
Right, yeah. And like I definitely think white has that in this game too. It's just, and it has the most life gain and the most.
Colin felt like it was the experimental color. He says he felt like if they're like, oh, what color is this? I don't know, throw it in white. Oh, hey, like, you know what? This works better in black, or this works better in red, and then they would then associate with those colors later.
It's interesting. I mean, I'd definitely like to pick Colin's brain because like he doesn't really, he hasn't really played a lot of Magic, so he wouldn't necessarily know that like what he how he associates colors might be different. But
yeah, well, I mean, I think in the end you're the only one who really plays Magic.
Yeah,
I just started with Arena. And that's just for fun.
Yeah, and it is pretty interesting, like hearing your take too on it. Like you think white is like life gain and protection and like buffs too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like, which is a lot of what Magic is also.
Yeah. And that came from Pokemon. Where there really isn't color association there. It's just here's the Pokemon.
I don't know.
Here's the water type.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got on this. But
and you know what? The real conversation finally started there. We were struggling, finding our way, and then boom, we really hit what probably most people want to listen to if they're even still here listening to that at that point. But we talked about it last week. I was just remembering. It was, I think, last week with Colin when we talked about it because the whole stream with Jeff saying the Color Pie Association. But before you interrupt, or jump in, we talked about it this week. I kind of want to get your opinion on it. But let's, I guess, tie it all together next week. Like you said, you want to pick Colin's brain. Let's see what he has to say about it. And finally resolve it all. See what, because their thing was they're going to re-identify some of the colors to actually do what they're supposed to do going into the next cluster. And with that, I was asking Colin, or I think Colin asked me, one of the two, what each color did to us and what color direction you'd like them to see them to go at that point, because there'll be color pie for the rulers and then there'll be color pie for all the cards within the sets and what they're going to do.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm excited to see that. But one thing I will say though is like in the realm of like, this doesn't really affect as much. So like in Magic, back in the day, like your library or your deck was like considered like the mage's mind or the wizard's mind. So like blue had a lot of stuff. Like blue also mills cards. And like, so like the again, the idea of blue is like messing with your opponent's mind, and that's why they also got like cancels in a Magic. So like I could see if you extend like the library to your hand and like you're messing with the opponent's hand, which is also their mind. So I could see if that's one route that like Colin's blue should get discard makes sense to me, but I don't think he's thought that through enough.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what he says next week. We'll jump into that topic again.
So like what cards? Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
I was about to wrap up the podcast.
I know. I'll probably just do it later. But like, what blue cards like discard cards from the opponent's hand right now?
I don't know. I was just repeating what he had said. My standpoint was, like I said, the stat changes, draw a card type of situation, bouncing. Sniping from was it called sniping from the blind spot?
Sniping from the blind spot.
Yeah, that was a bounce card. And there's another one that was not instant speed.
There's a ton of bounce cards.
Yeah,
like the Rising from the Depths is like board wipe bounce.
Yeah,
there's also like resting. They've been playing with the idea of like rest target resonator and it doesn't untap, or just rest target resonator with this, which is something that blue and Magic does a lot of.
Is doing.
Yeah, exactly. Hook is bounce. Yeah. No, there's I completely agree. Like,
yeah,
that's totally one. Anyways, but
well, with that said, we're going to wrap up the podcast because we do need to get to spoilers, which will have come out last night if you're watching this the next day. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you to all the patrons for all the support and for making all this podcast happen. I think I made this promise last week, but I'll make it again. Next week will definitely be better. Colin will be here. The whole group will be back. Joey better be here and not skip out on us again. And
next week?
Yeah, next Sunday.
Yeah. I'll be totally interested in trying to make that.
You better be here, right, guys? Well, thanks for watching, listening, for all those on other forms listening. And we'll see.
I hope you guys enjoyed our rambling and our color pie talk.
Oh, and you know what? Next week we're going to do the Ruler of the Week again, which we haven't done in a while because, I don't know, but we're going to do Epic Stories Rulers, I think. That's what I want to do.
Oh, nice.
Give us more chance to talk about some of our theories.
I like that idea.
Cool.
I love that idea.
All right, and we'll see y'all next time.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.